just ate lunch at Whole Foods. We are now hitting the road, leaving Grand Rapids. All the kids are dropped off. The dog's dropped off. We are now ready to come to GenCon. So see you guys there. All right, so we are in Indiana. We're stopping at this rest stop, getting gas, getting some drinks. And there's something I noticed. There's a prison across the street. Kind of odd. That doesn't seem real safe. I don't know. But yeah, we're almost to GenCon. All right, we've arrived at GenCon. Here is an Indy car at the Westin. That's pretty cool. So we parked over by the Westin parking underground, and one of the first things you see when you cross the skywalk from the Westin to Will Call is this Dungeon Crawl Classics by Goodman Games banner, which was pretty sweet. We then met up with Dave and his wife Stephanie there and decided to go over to Harry and Izzy's for dinner. While we were waiting outside, we ran into some other content creators like Professor DM, Dungeon Coach. I got to meet Kelsey, the creator of Shadow Dark, which was pretty cool. And we had a wonderful dinner. It is day one of GenCon. Just got up. It's like 6:30. We're going to head on down for breakfast at the Holiday Inn. Then we're going to go on in, go to Will Call. Who knows how long we're going to have to wait in line for that. And then we are going to spend some time shopping today. So yeah, I'll get some footage for you guys. So see you guys later. So for breakfast on Thursday, I was carrying a Liquid Death down there, my peach tea. And the guy at breakfast thought I was drinking alcohol and was like, man, you're drinking at 7 in the morning? And yeah, so I just had to post this picture for that. I dropped Paula off near Will Call, and then I was like, oh, I'll go find a parking spot. Literally parked across the street, though. Would not have dropped her off if I knew I was going to get this good of parking, to be honest. As you can see, as I was walking up, it was sold out. We knew it was sold out, though, before we showed up. It's always cool seeing that sold out sign, though, at an event you're about to go to. While we were waiting in Will Call, saw this really cool War Duke helmet. Had to ask the guy if I could take a photo. He was super cool about it. This one was for our gaming group back home. War Duke comes up pretty frequently there. We decided to walk around the top to avoid some of the traffic, where we obviously saw Cardhalla, came around, got some cool photos of like the front area. And then you can see here just the massive crowd that's already packed in there at about 8:30. I heard that Marvel upstairs was going to be open at 8:30, so Paula and I went up there and started waiting because I wanted to get the X-Men expansion that had just come out or was going to come out at Gen. While standing there waiting, there were some guys talking in front of us, and I recognized one. He looked very familiar, and it happened to be somebody I follow on TikTok. He goes by the name Seventh Mastery. He does, I believe, Magic the Gathering content and Tabletop RPG content over on TikTok, and I just couldn't remember his name, so I just didn't say anything, and I was hoping it would like register. It just didn't. So Seventh Mastery, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I didn't say anything. But it was really cool seeing you there. But anyway, so we did manage to get in. I think Marvel's room opened at about 9:30. We did pick up the expansion and the Deadpool book. And then we went over to the escalator, started taking some photos as it had filled up. And you can see here, the room is opening. The exhibit hall is opening. So we are making our way in. And this is referred to by some in the Fans of GenCon group on Facebook as the running of the nerds. As you walk up there, some people grabbed some program guides. The program guides were already gone by the time we even got up there, and we weren't even that far back. So that was kind of, I don't know, sad. We did get one. I think we got it on day 2, but you know. One of the first things I do when I go to GenCon is I look for the Palladium booth. And they had a new Leonardo there, so I had to get a picture with that. Obviously, I talked to Sean, a good friend of the channel, for a while. You know, so Sean is somebody who's been on the channel. We've interviewed him a few times, and someone I think I have a pretty good relationship with. Love that Palladium Books brought him on as their partner. Obviously, I spoke with Kevin as well, but I forgot to get a picture with Kevin on day 1. But obviously here you can see, we talked about some really cool things. My wife noticed they had a Call of Cthulhu cookbook that was $150. It was awesome. All weekend long she talked about it. She almost bought it, but did not. I wish I got a picture of it because it was really, really cool. Here you can see me and my beautiful wife getting a photo with Leonardo of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Many of you might not know that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness was one of the first 2 books that I ever owned that was a tabletop RPG back in the mid-90s. Here I am getting some footage of the Palladium booth, and then as we walked by the Paizo booth, I got a picture of their really cool kobold. We decided to try and hit the exhibit hall in order, so we hit the first aisle to the far left. Again, we had talked to Palladium for about 30 minutes, so this is about 30 to 40 minutes into the con. Saw this really cool Ocarina booth where they had song books, which you'll see more of that later in this video. You know, and she was really cool too. She was willing to take song requests for us and things like that, so absolutely loved her booth. This booth was also really cool. They had stained glass, they had t-shirts, they also had these stick-on things for glass, and I did end up buying a shirt here this weekend, so you'll see us come back there as well. I stopped by the Castles and Crusades booth, really liked their spell write-ups in their book here, so I had to take a picture of that. Here's their player's handbook. You can see that it's kind of a nod to old school D&D there. In fact, all their books kind of have an old school D&D theme, and you can definitely see the resemblance to the older D&D books as well. So again, had to get a photo of that. Modifius, loved this. Walking through the halls, you see some really cool cases with cool things in them, and just happened to stop here and get this photo. Decided to take a photo of the balloon sculpture. I didn't know what the theme was. I wasn't paying a ton of attention to that, but got a photo of that because I knew over the weekend it would look really cool. Went back by Paizo, got a picture with Luis Loiza, who's been on this channel before. He does the Pathfinder Lost Omens line. Obviously, a space goblin is always cool also. Gotta get a photo of that. Here I am talking to Steve Kenson over the Green Ronin booth. Once again, the Green Ronin guys are amazing. Got a picture with the Boss Goblin mascot. And then just some really cool things here, you know, dice. And I tried to take as many cool photos throughout the weekend. You know, so here I am seeing my friend Randall over at the Jim Hammer and Sons gaming booth. We talked to them for a while, had some pretty cool interactions, and I got some. I thought about getting the deck of many cards there. Those were really cool. Here's my wife Paula, Randall, and I.
Congratulations, a beautiful purple percentile. That's yours. Thank you.
Thank you.
You bought it. Yes, for you.
I have $1.
A dollar?
Not bad.
Did you process 2? The more you do this, the lighter this gets, the easier I have.
It's the nerdy version of Shake Weight.
Hey!
12
12 percentiles. Enjoy.
So after talking to Randall for a minute and getting our photo, which again is really cool because Randall has played in a couple games on the channel, and Randall's a good friend of ours. He actually lives really close to us. So that was the first time my wife had met him in person, though. Here's some cool miniatures, some of the cool LARPing and cosplay stuff there. I have to get a photo of those things. They just stand out. My wife trying on some wizard hats, which was kind of fun. And they had maps of the Lord of the Rings setting on there, so that was cool. Some really cool masks that I saw at a booth. If you've never been to GenCon, there's some really cool stuff. It's obviously become a really big board game convention. Obviously, tabletop RPGs. You can get a ton of dice and pop culture. Here we are saying hi to our friend Peter, who we've never met in person, but we've reviewed his products on the channel. Very cool stuff. He does the Story Engine deck and the Deck of Worlds line of cards. Those are cool, though. TMNT again there. And here we are posing with one of the statues before we went out to lunch that day. When we were coming back, we saw the guy, the juggler, standing on a ball. I had to take a photo. And then I showed up for my autograph signing with Matt Forbeck. So I had him sign all my Marvel Multiverse books. So I have every single one of them signed by him and his son Marty, and they've been on the channel before too. Here's some other cool stuff. A lot of these things are also things that I thought my kids were gonna love, so I managed to get some photos of those. Here's a miniature I thought was cool, and then obviously a massive Tiamat here. Had to get a photo of that. We met up with Bill Allen at the end of the day over in the GenCon streaming booths and got a photo with him. Another good friend of the channel. He does all the streaming for GenCon. And it was D&D's 50th anniversary, so I took a picture of that, but did not buy it. Here's another cool booth over here with a beholder. Another cool booth. They had some really sick miniatures. Would have liked to spend more time there. Obviously, here is my X-Men book that I bought on day one, and the Deadpool book that I also bought on day one. Those are the only two purchases we made that day. We were pretty exhausted after the first day because we had made sure we saw everything in the exhibit hall in the first day. So we decided not to go out that night. We were invited to a party over at the football stadium. I kicked off the second day with the D&D seminar here while my wife actually started her shopping. And then I went and did some, captured some footage of different things. And this is when I was waiting for my wife to meet up to go out to lunch on day two. But yeah, day one was great, and day two started off pretty good as well. Ran back to the Green Rona booth looking for Troy and got into a conversation with Chris Pramus there. Went back over by this booth just to get some footage. Was pretty dead set on buying one of their shirts, and found out that they were going to have a Blessing of the Dice. Here we are meeting up with Dead Aussie Gamer. Dead Aussie Gamer is an awesome person in the community. I highly recommend, if you don't follow him, start following him. Good friend of the channel. We've talked Pathfinder, among other things, and we've even played some games with him here on the channel as well. I really wish we could have talked a little bit longer, maybe had a meal or something together, but busy schedules for all of us, so we just couldn't make that work. There are so many really awesome cosplays happening. Obviously, the Mind Flayer was pretty cool. That one caught my attention. The superhero ones, I absolutely loved, but here I am, close-up of the Mind Flayer. Made me just laugh so hard. The balloon sculpture was Gnome Hollow. It was for their game. And it was really, really awesome at the end. Ran into our friend Harold, formerly known as Blackthorn's Apothecary. We did lunch with him, and we managed to play a game with him later on. We walked over with Harold over to the football field where we wanted to see if the D&D handbooks were over there. Because we had heard people manage to get them without having some tickets through the event. So we were like, let's give it a shot. Because we had been trying in the morning, and we were having no luck both days, Thursday and Friday. But yeah, so we went over there to no luck. Ran into Wayne, went back and saw Wayne from the Palladium Books booth, and said hi to him, got a photo with him. And then Paula and I went back to the exhibit hall to look at some stuff. Here's a really cool X-Men on metal image. Here's another really cool one of Warduke. We ended up getting some stuff at this booth later on. We got some bookmarks for the kids, and I did get myself a Mind Flayer one that was GenCon 2024 official. There's a Baldur's Gate 3 one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that was the artist in that photo as well. Here's a Final Fantasy VII one, which is my all-time favorite video game. Here's a Tomb of Annihilation dice box. I believe they just covered one of those dice boxes, but I'm not sure. We saw our friend Aaron, who was demoing the Ogre Sandwich game. And then here is an axolotl, which is my 5-year-old's absolute favorite, creature. He was actually one for Halloween last year, which is cool. And then we got to play Cool Name RPG here. This game might have the best magic system of any I've ever played. I was able to talk to Mark a little bit about it, and Mark actually is the one who hooked us up with our tickets to GenCon, which was really cool. If it wasn't for him, there's basically no chance we would have been there. So we owe this all to him and Mechanical Muse. He is an amazing writer. He used to be head of the Writers Symposium over there. And definitely recommend checking out his work. He has the setting Ataltus, and that has been released for 5e as well as Pathfinder, I believe. I might be wrong on the Pathfinder thing, but check that out. The setting is really cool, especially if you like a throwback to some old school style settings. Definitely feels dangerous to adventure in, so I highly recommend checking that one out. But yeah, Harold from Blackthorn's Apothecary played in that game with us, and afterwards he had a game to go to. So we ended up meeting up with Dave and Stephanie again, went out to dinner at this Mexican restaurant about 20 minutes out, got to ride in the Nerd Archie-mobile, met some amazing people. I did manage to have a drink spilled on my lap, which was pretty cold, but it was okay. So yeah, we had a good time with that and made some new friends. And then here I am on Saturday morning trying to get the D&D Player's Handbook ticket. So let's check that out real quick.
So it is Saturday morning and I think I've been trying to do this all wrong. I've had these in my playlist or wish list every day. And this morning and last night, I tried to process my wish list because apparently there's a step you have to do in your wish list. And now it's saying your wish. Oh, wait. Yeah, see, so, okay. Wish list has been processed. I don't know what that means. Click here to go to your cart. See, it didn't give it to me. It totally didn't give it to me. I'm so confused. This has been a pain in the butt. If this worked, I don't know, because I don't see anything, but yeah. I think there's a chance I got it. I have no idea right now if I supposedly got the PHP or not. So yeah. GenCon, please make this more clear in the future.
So the system for trying to get a player's handbook was not very clear in how you were supposed to actually do it. I had read how to do it ahead of time. I had talked to people, and honestly, it didn't make sense to me. So this again is Saturday morning. This is my last day to try and get the player's handbook. After all that, it said it would take a couple hours to know. Now, the other thing is it said that there were 725 tickets available when you start, right? However, I was in process on the wish list at 900 something, and somehow I got one of the 725. I don't know how that works, but it worked. So Paul and I split up Saturday morning and did our shopping. I went and got my player's handbook. You could see back a minute ago, we separated. I'm going around the exhibit hall. I'm going to walk down the hall, and I go over to the football field because now I know where the player's handbooks are handed out to go get a player's handbook. So got some really cool video here of different things like Card Hala, and walked down this really long hallway where you could just see a ton of people walking. And as you get down by the end of this hallway, there is a row of arcade machines. So I really wanted to get a video of that. And when you get outside up here on the right is where all the food trucks are and where the block party was. So you can see some really cool arcade machines over here. There's the old 1960s Adam West Batman, which that one just stood out to me, and Star Wars and so many other ones. But I really wanted to get this because my wife and we like to go down to our local pinball place down here. It's called Retro Electric Arcade in Lowell, Michigan, just outside of Grand Rapids. And so this whole thing right here just kind of reminded me of home a little bit. And, in fact, one of our favorite systems over there is the Foo Fighters pinball game. But yeah, I guess to play these was $2 a play, somebody had said. I didn't play any of these, but I was just blown away that it cost $2 a play. If that's the reality, I don't know. If you played any of the pinball games, maybe you can confirm that in the comments below here. So here we are walking out, and this is where the block party was. They had tents of all sorts of different food places and drink places. And here in a moment, you're going to see the massive number of food trucks that lined the street outside of Safeco Field here. I heard some were really good. My wife ended up having a lobster roll from one of them. I ended up having just hot box pizza this day for lunch. And, honestly, it was not bad. And it also wasn't priced very bad. I think it was like $6 a slice, which for down here during GenCon seemed pretty reasonable. I think I ate for $15 because I also got a pop with my pizza. But yeah, you can see here's all the food trucks. My footage does not do the food trucks justice. But there were quite a few, and there was a lot of variety. So next year we were thinking of eating at the food trucks a couple more times rather than going out to any restaurants, and definitely skipping Steak and Shake because we did that twice this year. So walked in, it had a really nice ambiance. I loved the music when you walked in. It was very fun. Here I am going up to show where the football field normally would be. Now, some people in the Fans of GenCon group claimed that there was like a haze in here. There was no haze. I never once saw a haze. I don't know what the heck they were talking about. Maybe when they went, there was some smoke from True Dungeon or something. But yeah, it was easy to talk to people in here when we came in the previous day with Harold, and Paula and I also, had walked through here, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. Now, I will say, for a football field, I hate these stairs. I feel like you should be able to walk around smoothly. But here I am jumping in line to get my player's handbook. You kind of come up here, and I grabbed a bracelet, didn't need one, grabbed obviously a D20 because you get that with your purchase. This guy was waving at me. He thought I was videoing. I was just taking a photo, and here I am posing the stuff afterwards on a table. When I walked back into the convention center, there was this really sweet gaming table that looked perfect for tabletop RPGs. So I had to get a photo of it. This is one of those things that I had talked about in my RPG a Day videos, so I had to mention that. Then there was this amazing cosplay from Delicious in Dungeon. This is a show I watched with my kids, so I wanted to get a photo of it, and obviously I did. And then here you will see the blessing of my newest dice.
O mighty Saint Draconis, patron of dice rolls, grant us your favor as chance unfolds. Guide the roll and make it fair. Let luck be kind and free from despair. With your blessing, may the numbers align, and games and gambles make us shine. As the dice tumble, let your breath be near. In every cast, make your guidance clear. Through wins and losses,
I adhere.
Across boards and bosses,
I adhere.
with gratitude and praise,
I adhere.
my die to you I'll raise.
I adhere.
We have the knucklebone of Saint Draconis. We now bless your dice.
Cogitamnus fanaticus.
Take your dice and rise.
Thank you very much.
So I'm Ian Lino with Geek Orthodox. We do stained glass artwork for our modern mythology. We're here at GenCon in booth 142. We'll be at DragonCon in New York this year also. And you can find us at Geek Orthodox Art on Facebook and Instagram.
She was really cool. Loved her performance there. Big fan of Ocarina of Time, but the Zelda game. So anyways, so day one, I had talked to a bunch of different people about possibly doing interviews throughout the con. Even before going, I had asked some people. But day one, my throat was like not sore, but I felt like I was going to lose my voice. So I decided not to do any interviews on the first day of the convention. I told people, yeah, I'll try and come back around and do something like, day 2 or day 3. Unfortunately, every day I could feel my voice getting worse, so I did not do a single interview at the convention. That is the only regret I kind of have, but at the same time, I don't even know if in the future that I really want to do interviews at GenCon. I think I will probably just go and preview some booths, and maybe I'll interview people, but I think there's just so much going on that if I'm not there for the full 4 days, the idea of trying to get footage at individual booths is just not possible. Here's the Green Ronin booth. Obviously, I went back. I'm good friends with the guys over there, so I was able to get some cool footage. I kept missing Troy. Troy does their social media. He is the disembodied voice on their live stream, so you never see him on there. But so I didn't actually know what he looked like. And so I kept going over there and asking if Troy was there. Talked to Christopher Pramus for a while, talked to Steve. Everyone was super cool over there. Obviously, Goodman Games was right behind them, so I got some footage of their booth because I think their stuff is cool. And then went back to Paizo. They had a lot of cool miniatures there that I was thinking of buying. And just a lot of their, I'll just call these puppets, I don't know what else to call them, are really, really fun. So I got some clips of that. Here's their display that had some really cool things in there. And once again, they're miniatures. Paizo, for the Pathfinder line, has some of the coolest looking miniatures out there. I like a lot of their miniatures even more than I like the Dungeons and Dragons miniatures, to be honest. So yeah, definitely had to get some photos of those. They're just so vibrant and cool, and they are definitely very interesting. They have dynamic poses. Paizo has an amazing booth. Starfinder came out there, and yeah. Here I am checking out the Chaosium booth. Was looking at some Call of Cthulhu and some other stuff there. And, honestly, it was a smaller booth than I was kind of expecting. I thought they'd have a bigger booth. But that was really cool to see over top. That was really cool. Here I am back by Palladium Books. I was just curious what was going on over there. I was going to try and get my picture with Kevin, but he was talking to a lot of people, so I left him alone. Because you got to get your GenCon photo with Kevin when you go to GenCon. At least if you're a Palladium Books fan like I am. So obviously they have all their books on display. Their books are displayed really well. That's one thing my wife really wanted to compliment them on, because she said it's easy to understand what the books are, as opposed to some other games at the con. You have to kind of ask, hey, what genre is this? And Palladium Books stuff really stands out, and you know what it is. So very nice covers. And so once again, had to get some good footage of their booth. So here we are running into my friend Nelson. I've known him for about 8 years now. And so we talked for a little bit, and then I got back to walking the hall and getting more footage. So obviously this was a day where I just wanted to get as much footage as possible, or else I wasn't going to be able to make this video for you guys. So you're going to see us getting, some pan shots of different things. I stopped periodically just to kind of get a quick video of what the convention looked like, Here are some other really awesome miniatures. So I got that. And then Asmodee here has the Star Wars game over here. I think it's called Star Wars Unlimited. The art looked really cool. Obviously, we like Star Wars in our household, so I wanted to get that. My 5-year-old loves Star Wars. Here's Mr. Freeze. I saw him in a lot of photos and videos while we were at GenCon, so I managed to get one as well. Here's some more demo games going on. There were a lot of demo games. We did not play a lot of games at GenCon. I think we demoed 2 or 3 games, and or actually, maybe it was a couple more than that. And then we just played Cool Name RPG. So a lot of people, when they go to GenCon, there's many reasons to go. Maybe you're there to play a lot of games. Maybe you're there to see friends. Maybe you're there for networking. For me, it's really just seeing friends. I like to think that GenCon is a friend reunion. There's a lot of people I've met and talked to online, and this is kind of my opportunity to meet up with a lot of them or see them, in case it's been a while. So you'll see here we're over at the Elderwood Academy booth. A few years back, my daughter got a gift card of theirs. So we got her a book that had like a magnetic thing inside. You could put miniatures and your dice and all that. So that was pretty cool. So I had to stop by there. They had some pretty cool Hero Forge miniatures. That was the first time I've ever seen the printed but colored miniatures. So thought those looked really nice in person, actually. Here was the Modifius booth, and obviously we have interviewed some people from Modifius before. We've reviewed some of their products. We've done flip-throughs of their products. Modifius, in my opinion, does some of the best work on IPs. They obviously have Star Trek, which we have that book. They have Dishonored, which is a video game. Obviously, everyone knows Fallout. They've got a lot of Fallout stuff. They do all sorts of other things. Their system is really, really awesome. It's a 2D20 system. So obviously had to check out their booth because, they're just making some cool stuff, and their booth did not disappoint. You can see in the video they have some awesome stuff over there, some cool cosplay, especially for Fallout, and the nice backdrop. Here we were walking by one of the coolest miniature booths there. They had some sweet miniatures that my wife and I were checking out. And then here in a second, you're going to see us walk by the Epic Games booth. They have those different Epic games. We actually had them demo a game for us on Saturday because we weren't quite sure how to play it, and we've owned Epic Quests for a long time, and we've never played it. And yeah, so we did get the one guy to kind of demo it for us, and that was pretty cool because now we can actually play that game, and we've always wanted to because we've heard that it was awesome. And my wife and I we don't sit down and play a lot of games. And when we do, we usually play games we understand. So we're not trying to figure out how the game plays. There's our friend Aaron demoing the Ogre Sandwich game at Strange Machine Games booth. Obviously, we've done some stuff with them before. We have a few of their games as well. So once again, you can kind of see how packed it is in here. This was Saturday morning before lunch, I believe. So it's kind of busy, but it wasn't too busy. To me, I would say that Thursday was the busiest day. We're big Lord of the Rings fans, so my wife and I both got a picture of this. She had been looking they had these wooden maps that they had there, and she was looking for the Middle Earth one. She saw it on day one. It looks like they sold it either the end of day one or early day two. Here we were buying Stock Exchange. We were looking at Gnome Hollow, but we didn't get a chance to demo it, so we didn't purchase that. We'll probably look at that later. I hear it's like the game of the month over at like Barnes & Noble. So I'm sure we'll watch some reviews and probably pick that one up. Some really cool cosplays. They had the Wolverine one there, Angel, also known as Archangel when he went bad, and then a Mimic chest, which was really cool. Again, the cosplays were really good this year, I thought. There was a point where I saw a Xena one that was cool, and she was cool. I didn't get a photo, though. There's Darth Maul and Chewie. Storm, she had a cool umbrella there that had lightning effects. Here I am going inside of the Gnome Hollow balloon sculpture. They made it look like a house in here. It was really, really fun. Yeah, they did a good job with the Gnome Hollow balloon sculpture this year. As we were leaving that area, I ran into Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford. I have never had this happen. I've met celebrities, I've met actors, I've met athletes, I've met pro wrestlers. I've met some that I was super fans of. I saw them and I asked for a photo, and I could feel the hair on the back of my neck stand up, and I've never had this happen. It was like this tingling feeling, and I was like, oh, Chris Perkins, you're my dream DM. Love what you do with Acquisitions Incorporated. I think it'd be so much fun to play with you someday. And then I told Jeremy Crawford I'm a big fan of his pre-Dungeons & Dragons work, and it was just, yeah, it was really cool to see them. They were real cool. They let me take a photo. Jeremy Crawford doesn't shake hands, or at least didn't, which I madly respect. So obviously I fist bumped him, but Chris Perkins, I shook his hand, and it was cool. Then we went and saw the Palladium seminar for TMNT. Got to talk to Kevin beforehand. Was so tired. My voice was going, but it was the best way we could have ended GenCon. So then we drove home. Here are all the little banner things I got for my badge, which I thought were cool. And this is the stuff we either bought at the con or had given to us or had signed. So got some pretty cool stuff here, I think. And we didn't break the budget. We actually matched our budget pretty much exact. So was very proud that I did not go over budget. And there it is. The cool name goes here. Definitely check that out, guys. I highly recommend it. All right, so we are home from GenCon. We got home late Saturday night. We picked up our dog, and then yesterday we had a family event and picked up our kids. Didn't get home till like 9 o'clock last night. It's Monday now. Just had lunch. Got a lot to do. We got to do grocery shopping, and I got to unpack and all that stuff. But GenCon was so much fun. Already looking forward to next year. Trying to figure out some new ways to go so we can stay longer. Maybe go a day earlier, not a day earlier, but earlier in the day on Wednesday, and stay through Sunday. So, yeah, we're going to be trying to figure that out. But I had a blast, and I can't wait until next year. So, yeah, and we'll probably stay about 20, 30 minutes out once again, because that worked just fine for us. So, yeah, thank you guys, and for everyone we saw, awesome seeing you.